I'm not a crook.
Good day and welcome to the Unprofessional Professional Sports Podcast. I am BA with James Martin, Keith Engel, and just flashing in, Bo Crouch. How are you gentlemen doing this evening, this day?
Hello.
Doing good.
Doing well, sir.
Yes, it is another day, another sports week, as usual. We're going to start off with the aftermath of the Michigan defeat of UConn. It was a really good game. It was really a good defensive game for the most part. UConn basically did what they set out to do against Michigan. Michigan was just more overpowering than UConn was. Like, it was a really good game. And I thought Michigan was going to come out in the second half and play a lot better than they did in the first half, and that's what they did, and even though they were leading in the first half. But let's see here.
I think what was interesting was nobody could hit a three on that one rim.
Yeah.
You know, unless that thing was laced, if it touched the rim, it didn't go in. And, you know, unfortunately for UConn, that's what they had in the second half. So, I mean, you know, that's one of the downsides to being new rims, new balls, right? The finesse of being able to touch the rim can go away a little bit.
Oh my goodness. This is a whole pause moment. New rims, new balls, finessing the rims.
Hey, don't act like you don't like it.
Goodness.
Rim shot.
Boy, talk about unprofessional.
I'm staying away from all these rim comments tonight. I can tell you after last.
Hey, that's why you play the.
Well,
That's why you play the game.
We can go into our cornhole.
Right.
No, that's why you play the game. Is it sports commentary or is it porn? You don't really know.
I will say about that game, though. I mean, if you told me the game would be played in the 60s and UConn would have 22 offensive rebounds, I would have told you they won the game, because that game set up perfectly for them to. The only way they could win the game, probably, and Michigan just really kind of beat them at their own game, and kudos to them. You know, I know a lot of people are in, you know, their hair's on fire because, well, 5 transfers. This is the end of the world. It's the world
paid for their championship. That's
the world we live in today. And you know what? 2 of those guys who started on this team, by the way, weren't playing for. They were playing terrible. Mara at UCLA and. The point guard, was at North Carolina. They were not playing or playing badly. It was a turnover machine. So got to give Dusty May a little bit of credit for getting this team to gel and play together. I mean, this is what I'm not crazy about where we are in college sports, but this is where we are, and I'm going to give Dusty May some credit here, not just say you bought a championship. It's just ridiculous. This is a great team.
LSU. LSU.
Right.
You still got to play within a team. Those people have to gel. I mean, talent can go through so much.
2 of those guys, he turned into much better basketball players than where they were before. So you can't take that away from him or this team. So kudos to Michigan. And now you got
also, you know, also the fact that they were lights out from the line. I mean, when they were sent to the line, they hit both shots almost every time.
One time down the stretch, I think they missed those 2. The kid missed 2 right, I think, in the last minute.
At the end of the game,
Yeah, and that did make you worry a little bit, because you're like, oh, and then they probably went down and turned the ball over. And so it didn't ultimately matter. But yeah, when he missed those 2, they were down 4, and you're like, oh, okay. Like there's a chance.
There's
And
a chance,
then
exactly.
since they didn't capitalize on it, and then it was kind of over. But yeah, I mean, outside of that kid missing both of them, they hit almost everything.
They're so good defensively inside. Those big men are so good. I'm surprised that UConn found a way to get 22 offensive rebounds as good as those big men are. But what can you say? I mean, this team had one of the dominating runs through the tournament of any team, at least in recent history.
Yeah, UConn was they got those rebounds because they were really hustling. I mean, UConn Michigan stopped them from scoring as much as they obviously more than them, so they could win. But at the same time, UConn was still gritty in there, and they were still getting a lot of those rebounds just on grit itself. I mean, there was so many battles going on underneath the rim. It was it was a really good game. I thought it was a really good game. So
UConn got further than I thought they would. I mean, this is something I mean, you got to remember that last second shot against Duke really it propelled them into the championship. And I just thought Michigan would be the bigger team. It was just too much it was a big wall that they're facing. So, but like you guys said, they came close at the end. It just wasn't meant to be. And shout out to Hurley, man. I just have to give him a lot of credit as a coach, man. He's impressive. So I think it depends on what happens next year, obviously with their recruiting and everything, but they'll probably be in it again next year. I mean, in the Final Four again next year.
There's no reason to think they won't. I mean,
yeah,
sure.
Well, the early favorites for the next NCAA championship in Detroit, by the way, will be Duke at 750, Michigan at 900, Arizona at 1,300, and Florida at 1,400. So the top four teams there, that's pretty good. I'm kind of worried about Michigan because the day and age of the transfer portal. I mean, now you got kids that already won a championship. They might want to go somewhere else, or they might want to go in the NBA.
Money.
You know, that's
the thing. They're going to go get some money. You already got a ring.
Right.
Yep.
So
and Elliot Cadeau was the most outstanding player of the 2026 Final Four. And I tell you, watching those games, he was the guy that was keeping them in those games because, you know, Yaxel was up there. You know, he's hurt. He was kind of maimed. So he wasn't going to – he did the best he possibly could do. Lindenborg did. But, yeah, this was all Cadeau's.
He played great.
And the kid wasn't that good last year.
No, he was a turnover machine at Carolina, and he really changed that in his game pretty quickly. So great job by them. And I have to, do a little mea culpa because I did pick Michigan, but after I picked like three other teams to win this tournament.
Hey, well, Michigan was in my original final too, so I'll take credit. But anyway, North Carolina, speaking of which, hires Michael Malone to a 6-year, $50 million deal. Do you think that's going to improve that team immediately?
I don't think it'll hurt them. I mean, the kids will see that as well, this was the theory of Bill Belichick too, right? They're going to attract better players because they'll be prepared to go to the next level. Didn't really work out there, obviously, at least not yet. I think they'll be better. I think Mike Malone is probably he's definitely a good bench technician. He's a good game coach, probably. And that was Hubert Davis's downfall. Hubert Davis recruited. They had kids. He couldn't keep them there, and they didn't play to maybe the best of their ability when he coached them. So I think they'll be better. I think this came out of nowhere for me. I'd read Sunday that Tyler Hansborough said, "Watch out for Mike Malone." First time I heard his name was Sunday, and people were saying he was mentioned from the beginning. I never heard his name once until Sunday. And,
Michael T stays in the background.
He was mentioned from the beginning of Sunday.
Yeah, that's it. The beginning of today.
I do think he might have been the second choice. I think Billy Donovan would have been the coach if he would have left the Bulls now, but he wouldn't leave. And with the transfer portal opening, they couldn't wait for the NBA season to to finish. So I don't know that for a fact, obviously, but I really thought it was going to be Billy Donovan. And I like Mike. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to call him Mike Malone. It's Michael Malone. We don't want to upset the coach. You know, it'll be a different experience, right, at Carolina, because he doesn't have any ties other than his daughter playing on the volleyball. I'm not sure, the volleyball team. Is that right? Mm-hmm. She plays something there. That's his only tie to the university, which is the first time in almost 70 years they haven't had a tie since they hired Dean Smith away from Kansas. That's the last time they went outside of the program. So we'll see. It'll be different for everybody there.
It's a new beginning, and I think they should have a good chance to rebuild that program, because I mean, it's a shame that they're not considered a rivalry anymore with Duke. Man, they need to be, even although they beat them this year, but I just think that they just haven't been what they were since, you know, the Vince Carters, the Rasheed Wallaces, you know, and those type of players that were there, man. It's just not what it used to be.
Yeah, anywhere else, Hubert Davis didn't do a bad job, quite frankly. It just wasn't good enough for Carolina's standards. And, you know, they didn't have horrible records. I mean, most schools would have been happy with the success that they had. And he may still have the job if he didn't blow a 19-point lead against VCU. It's possible.
Well, it is North Carolina, so they are a prominent basketball superpower, supposedly. So, yeah, get back on track. I think they will with this new coach hiring. So we'll see.
Well, you got to win fast, right? Matt Doherty got to a Final Four his first year. Then he had a bad year the second year and got fired. So,
I mean, that's college sports now. Like, you can't have a bad year anymore. You can't cultivate talent. You can't build a team. You can't have an off year.
College basketball, the rules suck. They got it. I think they have to match what the NBA. I mean, what the NFL is. You got to have players at least 2 to 3 years, man. 1 year, one and done is terrible for the game.
Mm-hmm. You'll see more contracts getting signed. I think there's going to be more, you know, legalese to keep these guys from just jumping everywhere.
Yeah. Hopefully they can fix that function.
I mean, they should fix the transfer portal in general too. I mean, they should make it so you can transfer once or twice during your career, unless a coach leaves, right? You should have that latitude. That's like a free movement. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know. I don't like the every year you can switch. You know, obviously it's a little bit better with the transfer portal being limited to a single one instead of being able to transfer multiple times in the same year, which was wild. But if they were to limit it to, you know, 1 or 2 during your career outside of a coach leaving or, you know, something like that.
I think 1 without penalty is fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can still transfer, but you're going to have to sit out a year like you used to have to do. You know,
or how about just a minimum 2-year contract that you have to, you know, confine yourself to a program? I mean, that's fair, because I mean, you know, you still have the 3-year program. I mean, 3-year release to the NFL deal. I mean, so you almost guaranteed to keep a player out of school.
Well, and you have that same release whether they were going to go to the league for if a coach leaves, right?
Right.
Because you know, then you'd be like, hey, you know, I understand I signed this, but I'm not willing to get paid to be terrible.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You almost have to do something with the coaches too, and maybe they can't poach their players when they leave too. That, you know, that's another problem that on football and basketball. Often, you know, they're poaching the 2 best players.
Your second one, but that's okay.
Well, it's because they can't see all the other platforms.
Yeah.
It'll be
Rick is on Facebook too, so
it'll be interesting to see if the presidential commission. So there's an executive order now that's been signed that says 4 years, 5 years to play for, and 1 transfer. That's it. 1 transfer without penalty, and some other things. It probably won't. Somebody's got to enforce it. It really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing, is it's not going to get enforced.
No, probably not. I mean, we just had in football Chandler Morris just got denied. All these guys suing to get extra eligibility, right? He wanted to play a 7th year, and we've seen Trinidad Chambliss, and we've seen Aguiar, and a lot of guys on the football side that have been suing, trying to get extra years.
Well, and some of that is because now you can redshirt at 9 games. I mean, you've played the whole year. You can redshirt. So of course you want more years of eligibility. You could play forever based on the ability to redshirt.
And the portal's got to change. You know, it's ironic in basketball. The kid who there was a big ruckus about this year went back to Baylor. The first guy ever drafted by an NBA team, didn't make the team, came back, had eligibility, and Baylor brought him in. I can't think of his name right now, but irony of all ironies, he's in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, soon as you had a G leaguer be able to make it back and be eligible to play, that opened it up for every pro athlete.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, unless you make it to the league, right? NBA, MLB, NFL, right? If you're at any lower level, that opened the door to be eligible to go back to school.
Look at the number of European kids that are playing that have theoretically experience in Europe, right? There was, I want to say there was, you guys still there?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
Just had my window closed by accident. Sorry. I believe there was 24. I want to say there's 24 players from 18 different countries in the Final Four, on the Final Four rosters. That's a lot. Not of terribly great significance. Maro's from Spain, and there's a few good players that were there. But still, I think you're going to see more and more of this if that's going to be okay. Right? You know, you've got college eligibility. It doesn't matter that you played professionally in Europe. You're going to see an even bigger influx. Illinois had a bunch of kids from Europe on their team. So that's going to be a bigger thing.
Stojakovic, both the Stojakovic brothers on there. They had another guy that was from, I think 3 of their 4 starters were from, 3 of their 5 starters are from Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is the way it is. It's the slowly changing of the guard in the NCAA of how they do things. So it is like it is what it is. But in Major League Baseball news and notes, we had a little bit of a ruckus yesterday between Atlanta Braves pitcher Bernardo Lopez and Los Angeles DH George Solier. They both received 7-game suspensions in yesterday's bench clearing brawl. The 2 players were also fined an undisclosed amount to reduce his ban to 5 games, though. So I guess that's good for him. But yeah, being naughty out there.
You know, that was interesting. Baseball brawls are usually pretty boring, but this one kind of like simmered, right? The 2 guys, the stare down was more exciting to me than the fight itself. I thought it was pretty interesting as they kind of stared each other down, and before Soler decided to head to the mound. And he tried to get a couple of good licks in. I don't think he really landed anything.
Nothing really landed, but they were swinging.
He was.
So,
he was trying. Some. This wasn't your normal, grab.
The one that spoke.
Yeah.
I take it, Bo. You got a video of that one, huh?
Of course.
Put that up there. Put that up there.
Lopez fires into the backstop. It's right back to Heim, who throws late to second base. Now here comes Soler going after Lopez. They square up, and Soler and Lopez are throwing haymakers. They're going after each other. Soler is finally tackled from behind as the Angels and Braves are all out onto the field. That came up out of nowhere. Soler was upset after a couple of pitches were high and in after he hit yet another homer off Lopez. And a fight broke out just out of thin air.
When you see that baseball being thrown that far again, we talked about success against them.
Well, that's one way to settle your differences between Ronaldo Lopez and Jorge Soler.
Were they with
Man.
So the thing I saw in that video, grown men learn how to fight. I mean, they were swinging at each other like it was a girl fight. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was terrible. No, that's exactly what it was. I mean, the arms were swinging they were swinging from the back, coming like what?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. You don't actually want to make you want to swing because you don't want to look. You don't want to look like some chump going out there, but at the same time, you don't really want to make contact because if you're out there swinging, you get fines. You make contact, you are suspended. So as much as we say that from the outside, because you're like, I mean, if you're going to do it. But at the same time, that fine is a lot cheaper than missing significant time playing.
But I agree with you, but they made contact, so now you look stupid and you're still suspended. So they look goofy. I would have just
I mean,
put your dukes up if you're gonna do it and just come in with a few anchormen straight up. I mean, don't swing from
you see the part where he was like trying to go back with the punch and he kept going back.
Oh yeah.
It's like, dude,
what
are you doing?
Well, no, he still had the ball in his hand. So when that started, he still had the ball in the hand. So the first thing was him throwing the ball at him.
Yeah.
But if you look,
but the guy batting was, I mean, his was coming from Texas all the way to Atlanta. I mean, he was throwing it from way back here.
But look at the end of his punch. It's like he was pulling it because before he got there, he was curving down.
Yeah.
That is not a natural punch motion.
Yeah.
No,
I think most of these guys hadn't been in fights since they were like 5 or something like that.
I'm pretty sure some of these guys haven't been in a fight ever.
Right, exactly.
Went to a baseball game and a NHL game broke out. Anyway,
Artie Moreno ought to be happy, though. There was some entertainment at the ballpark, and because fans don't care about winning, it's not in the top 5 priorities for fans. But that was probably something Artie was happy to say.
Certainly not if you are certainly not if you're an Angels or a Braves fan.
Where's Jack when you need him to talk about this?
I'm never going to let Artie Moreno off the hook until he sells his team.
And hey, the Pittsburgh Pirates signed rookie sensation shortstop Connor Griffin to a 9-year, $140 million contract. He's getting highly touted, but do you think it's going to pay off for him in the long run? I mean, we're batting zero here, but
this has become the trend, right? And a lot of teams are trying to do this with their young talent and lock them up. The problem is if you're going to give them outs, and I don't know when his opt-outs are. I mean, I'll give you that money because it's life-changing money, and I'll give you that on the hopes that you'll work out. But when you do work out, and now you think you're underpaid, don't come back to the table. That's what's got to stop. And I don't know where his opt-outs are, quite frankly. I guarantee you with a 9-year contract or whatever it is, I think it's 9, right? There's going to be several opt-outs in there.
Oh, sure.
That I wouldn't do. That's where Major League Baseball keeps going off the rails and how salaries go. And again, I don't begrudge anybody. If somebody wants to give you something, then you deserve it. And you got to go earn it. But, you deserve it.
Yeah, you don't even have to in baseball.
No.
As soon as you sign that paper, you don't have to go earn nothing.
I meant there's a difference between people say people aren't worth a certain amount of money. And I say anybody's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay them. Whether you earn it is a different story. That's what again, a lot of them aren't going to, and they're still going to get paid. You're right. But
so what you're saying is the Tigers, even though they didn't win the arbitration with Tariq Skubal, that they give him this year. And if he decides to fall flat in his face, then the Tigers are made to look real good in this situation because
you
didn't pay him a contract to stay
here.
Yeah, you might rework his deal so you pay him $5 million a year for the next 25 years.
Yeah,
this kid's making $15 million a year off the rip, man. That's a lot of money, but it's a better deal for the team though. I mean, it's very team friendly. But I mean, you think he's worth it? Is the question.
Well, yes, he's worth it because somebody gave it to him. So will he earn it? I don't know.
To what you say, James,
good.
He's worth whatever you pay him.
I think he will. This kid, I mean, his debut, I mean, he may not be setting the world on fire with the bat right now, but he did everything in his debut. He made some great defensive plays. He had a base hit, showed off his legs a little bit. He can do it all. Well, whether he will at this level, we'll find out. That's why they play the game.
I mean, the Padres are 7-5. They're playing some pretty good baseball too. I mean, the Pirates.
Pirates are playing. Yeah,
they're playing really good. 7-5. Yeah.
Besides, the other end of that is that deal. When it's up, he's still going to be under 30. So I mean that at least gives you some optimism that he's still going to be playing prime baseball by the end of it. Like usually you see these contracts where you're like, okay, the first 5 years is going to be prime baseball, and then it's going to be rough to pay the second half of those contracts. He's young enough on this one. He potentially gets another bite at a big check at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
Unless there's opt-outs, Paul, then the 9 years doesn't mean anything because then he can just go after 3, right? When he feels he's not getting paid enough. Which if he works out, he won't be getting paid what everybody else is getting paid on. I want to see if he's got opt-outs.
So far,
you don't think he should have opt-outs, Keith?
I don't think he should have to get out. If you're going to give somebody 9 years with, again, it's life-changing money for anybody who's getting paid at that point. I'm sorry, unless one of the Rockefellers is getting drafted.
I mean, but what if he turns out to be a Aaron Judge or Juan Soto?
That's the chance he took. So he took a chance by taking the money right up front. The kid.
Oh, come on, Keith, come on.
I'm not paying. What if I give you what's the amount of money again? 100 and
9 years for 140 million.
15 million a year.
I gave you $140 million guaranteed. That's not a lot of money. Don't come back.
It is to us. I mean, for I'll take it. But I mean, I'm not knocking 40, 50, 60 homers a year out of the park.
You either bet on yourself or
averaging
against yourself. If he wants to bet on himself, then he signs a shorter contract or none and waits for his time.
Yep,
fair enough.
And out his contract then. So
no, and that's the way you look at it. Because I mean,
I don't like the fact they get it all. Right.
Yeah. No, and I completely agree with you. Like you're either betting on yourself or against, right? So you're either saying, hey, something potentially could happen. I'm going to take 140 mil guaranteed. Or you take that shorter deal and you say, hey, I want a bigger bite of the apple. I think I'm still ascending. And, I can't say that I wouldn't take the 140 mil. Right. Because
but
but look at the average baseball career, kind of like NFL, right? Like they don't always last 10 plus years. The guys you talk about all the time do, but there's a lot of guys on teams you don't talk about and they just disappear every year. So could you be a couple year phenom? Sure. So does that equate to you getting a second bite? Maybe. But if you get hurt, you could have cost yourself a ton of money. So, I mean, kind of goes both ways. I can't say.
Yeah. I mean, at 19, if somebody's throwing $140 million, I'm grabbing at 19. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. And again, to my point from before, you're not going to give the money back if you flame out. So
no, of course not.
If you overperform, why should I be expected to give you more if I've got you signed for 9 years? That's where I get.
And if you're overperforming, you're going to get another shot at this at 28.
That's the thing. He's doing it so young. That's a great point. Mm-hmm. But they want more shots at it. If he's got an opt-out, he can get two. He can get 2 big paydays before he's 30.
True.
So I don't like. I'll give you security, lifetime security. I mean, 140 million will last them, I think.
I mean, unless you're buying gas here in Washington, you should be all right.
Gas anywhere.
No. So for everybody outside of Seattle, regular is around 620 to 650 and diesel is 730.
Oh, yeah, the West Coast does have those little,
409.
Welcome to Seattle.
Today.
Man, you're gonna need some food stamps with that.
Yeah.
No, it just means when your friends are like, hey, you want to go hang out? And be like, nah.
No. You got gas money? Go hang out. There you go.
My first beer is just driving there.
Well, in the MLB so far, the Yankees are leading the AL East with a 8-2 record. In the AL Central, the Guardians are leading at 8-5. Texas is leading the AL West at 7-5. In the National League, the Mets are 7-4. In the Central, the Reds are 8-3. Look at that. Who said Cincinnati wasn't going to do anything? Okay. It's early. I'm just BSing.
I was going to say we're 10 games in. Like,
right. In the NL West, the Dodgers are 9-2. So there is your Major League Baseball news and notes. In NBA news and notes, Cade Cunningham is coming back after.
We didn't talk about how amazing the Mariners look yet.
It's 10 games in the season.
So now it's only 10 games. Okay.
Yeah, it's only 10 games in the season. Oh, that's just information. That's just informational knowledge. That's all that is. It has nothing to do with anything.
Before you do, I would like to acknowledge the passing of one really fine baseball player today, and Davey Lowe passed away today at 80. Really a gritty player. Not the best player in that Dodger team, but he's really clutch, and much respect to that guy. As we saw him a lot in the playoffs as a Yankee fan in the 70s, and kudos to a great career, manager, coaching, as a lifer in baseball. And
Texas does.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous.
Texas got that's less than it cost here.
That's where all the oil is. Should be cheap,
right?
See, that's where it's frustrating. Is we get ours from Alaska, and we have refineries here. We have 3 refineries right in Anacortes, which is like, an hour away from here, and then we still somehow have the most expensive fuel. Like, what are we doing?
Washington. What color is that state?
It's a little on the blue side.
Mm-hmm.
It also means very expensive.
I love that.
Getting to the NBA, Cade Cunningham is coming back after 11 games, where the Pistons went 8-3 and won the conference. I don't know if he should come. My opinion is he should stay out until the playoffs start. They've done everything they can do right now. There's nobody that's going to catch them at first place in the conference because they won the conference. They won a division. There's no reason for them to be having him out there. And they're playing just fine without him, although the last game they didn't. But, I mean, I don't know what everybody else's opinion on that, but it is what that is.
Might you not even think about sitting him in the first round, because you're not going to need him to get by the first round. And I'd want him to get to it as optimal health before I get to series that are going to be in doubt as I can. And if he goes out there only 70%, and maybe with a chance to re-injure himself, I'd want to wait, I think, because they're not going to lose their first round matchup to the Heat, right? Or whoever comes out of the play-in round.
Right.
That's where I would go.
Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Reggie. Why come back now? It's
Reggie.
The last great thing. Oh, so
wow.
You don't think LeBron's a good player? What's going on with you, man? Anyway, Draymond, speaking of players, accused the Sacramento Kings of tanking after an intentional foul by the Kings forward Doug McDermott on Seth Curry in their last game. The Warriors sending the guard to the free throw line. And the NBA is investigating this whole situation for tanking.
Nobody tanks. What's he talking about?
Right.
It took Draymond Green to get something investigated. I mean, we all know what's going on with the Kings and the Jazz and the Wizards and the Pacers. They're all doing the same thing. It's so obvious. They don't even try to hide it, for crying out loud. This is.
Well, we know somebody's a LeBron hater here.
That's pretty obvious.
It's not right.
I mean, he does cry a lot. Like, let's not pretend like that doesn't happen. Like, if he was going to be a dual sport, it would be soccer.
Broken fingernails. I know that's right, Robbie. Yeah, it seems like the NBA has all those I would call them bitchy injuries, but it is what it is. So for your Eastern Conference, your top 4 playoff teams right now are the Pistons, the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Cavaliers. For the Western Conference, it's OKC, San Antonio, Denver, and the Lakers. So for those that are keeping up with that. And speaking of moving over to the playoffs, the NHL. I know nobody barely pays attention to the NHL, but damn it, we're going to do it. Because you know what? It's the playoffs.
When the Rangers are good, I do.
What are you talking about? I'm there all the time. Unfortunately, we are awful after the Olympic break. We are 1-7-2 in the last 10. So
in the NHL, these teams have clinched the playoffs, are in the playoffs right now. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Montreal, Carolina, who won their division, by the way, Colorado, who won the Western Conference already, and Dallas and Minnesota. Wild cards we got are Boston, Ottawa, Utah, and Nashville. And by the way, Buffalo is a significant. This is significant for Buffalo. Buffalo can't get right, and this is a year they're getting right. It looks like. Now, how far they make it in the playoffs? Never know, but at least they're getting in there. Teams that are eliminated: Chicago, Calgary, Vancouver, New Jersey, and the New York Rangers.
And Florida. Did you say Florida? When was the last time a Stanley Cup champion finished?
Yeah, Florida too. Yep.
Records in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. And maybe I'm misremembering, but it's been a while since that's happened in my mind. I'm excited about what's happened in Buffalo. I'm a Ranger fan, but Buffalo's come back. Lindy Ruff's second tour of duty there, and he's got this team heading in the right direction. I don't think they've been any good since he left the first time.
Reggie, I think that would probably – I think it does a little bit, whether they play or they don't, depending how they want to move the line on the in gambling.
Another reason leagues shouldn't be in bed with betting sites. But
too late, Keith. Too late.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle, I know.
No, I love the NFL's position. We will fine you and suspend you if you gamble. And this message was brought to you by DraftKings.
Right. So that was your NHL news and notes. And the NFL news and notes, McGarry retires from the Falcons, and then the Falcons go out and sign Taylor for tackle position. Caleb McGarry retired because he had bad injuries. He couldn't play anymore. And then they signed this Jawan Taylor. Same Jawan Taylor that's played for Kansas City, correct? The one that kept jumping off sides?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, yeah, they got him.
So he's jumping to another team to jump off sides.
There you go.
More.
I think gravity is more in Atlanta, so it'll hold him to the ground.
Yeah.
Something about.
And things don't get better for the Falcons because James Pierce Jr. did not report to the Atlanta Falcons voluntary offseason workouts. I mean, whatever.
For what? What does he need to go there for? The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
And on that young lady's car, it's on the police knee. The writing's everywhere. It's definitely he's in trouble. Yeah. I'm not going to sneeze around that. I mean, it's unfortunate. Talented kid, very talented, But and not to beat a dead horse, that there's some things that was mentioned about this at Tennessee. Some of the behavior there. It's kind of why he slid. And, so wow.
One of those guys that is a tremendous player in the field, but he's just like an asshole off the field. So,
what's the guy that played for Dallas in Carolina? What was his name? I forgot what he had. All
Ray
the guns
Caruth?
in the No, not that Carolina.
Oh,
God, wow. Yeah. I mean, it's not far off, but I mean, he didn't murder anybody. He just had
No,
the
he didn't
girl.
murder anybody.
He beat the girl
Well, that's
up.
a little
Though.
far off.
Yeah.
And
Forgot the
Dexter
guy's name.
Lawrence wants to trade from the Giants, or he wants to get paid. And I think that's the whole reason why he's asked for a
more
trade.
about money than wanting out of New York or New Jersey.
He's going to be too expensive for any team. I mean, some team would bite, but I mean, I'm thinking my team probably definitely wouldn't grab him. I mean, I can imagine how many draft picks that he would command. He's dominant at his position, so, and he's 28, so this would probably be his last big contract.
Number one pick Mendoza. He's not going to attend the draft. He's going to stay at home, watch it on TV.
Just in case
he slips.
Just in case he feels a little like Aaron Rodgers or something that night.
Yeah.
Or Geno Smith. Yeah, sure.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No, of course not.
Kyle Pitts signed his franchise tender, and he's attending his off-season workouts right now. Oh, by the way, the Bears legend, Steve McMichael, they found out he had CTE. Like, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's certainly not shocking.
So going on with the NFL, and draft is coming up, obviously. Do you guys have a favorite that you would like to draft at your position that you're at right now, as far as your team is concerned?
A few. Being at number 8, I mean, the Saints, I guess I'll start. Caleb Downs, considering we could use a star player that, we lost Alontae Taylor. Definitely Caleb Downs would fill that role. And I think from what I understand, he's very cerebral, has a high football IQ. So I would love to see a player like that be on our defense and then, become a leader there, because he did a lot at Ohio State there. And speaking of Ohio State players, we can use a wide receiver, Cornell Tate, big 17 yards per catch type of guy, wide wingspan. Saints been missing that for a long time. And I would say also, who else? The linebacker, Ohio State, Sonny Styles. I would like to see him there as well. It looks like he touches our point. The draft is what we think it is.
Yeah, what it is. Yeah,
for sure. Those are the 3 players that I would like.
That's who I want my team to get. Oh, I guess they're not going to have a chance with those guys.
Exactly.
Oh, he's funny.
Sorry, that was bad.
Winning.
Winning cures all. The guys, listen, unless the Patriots are going offensive linemen, I would think with their first pick, there's probably 5 that they've been talking about. So I'm not going to go too deep in detail. The only thing that might throw that off is if Memador from my. Sorry, that's me. That's my nervous. Sorry.
Hello.
That was just me. The Miami edge rusher, Memador, if he were to fall, which he could, but he's probably going to go in the 20 or so. If he were to fall to them, I think they would move off their plan and go take that edge rusher. He's a little bit on the older side, and he's had some injury issues. But that, quite frankly, my dream would be he falls and the Patriots take him. As much help as they need on the offensive line, I think they can get it later if he falls. And the wide receivers, I'm not crazy about either, quite frankly. I like the kid from Arizona State. He's going to be gone by the time they get to us as well. But this is not a great wide receiver draft. It's not a great quarterback draft.
No, I don't know, Keith. Not true. Not
great. When I say, I think it's deep, but not great at the
not great. Gotcha.
Not great at the top. I think there's a lot of receivers you can find in this draft, and you don't.
What number are the Patriots selecting at? 30, 31?
30, right? 31. Sorry,
31.
If you can get, I would say, what are you looking for? A big guy, smaller guy?
Guy can get down the field. They've already got guys who can, catch the ball across the a lot of guys that can fill.
Omar Cooper Jr. probably would be great if you can get him.
Though. He's going to be gone. I would think him and the kid from Arizona State are both going to be gone by 31.
Brazel out of Tennessee might be available. That might be a good spot for him.
I don't, unless one of those kids falls, I don't see them going with a wide receiver or any skill position here until later in the draft. Don't take some wide receivers. They always do. They always draft like 3 or 4 of them. And Booty's like the only guy who's worked out in the last couple of years. Pop Douglas, I guess, but Booty's one of them really.
He's worked out on the field. Thank goodness he's beginning to work out off the field. He had a lot of trouble at the beginning. And I loved him coming out of LSU.
Booty, yeah.
Who drafted him originally? Who was the coach? There. Who was the coach?
Belichick.
Was it Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was his last.
He actually got something right in the wide receiver corner. Huh?
But he was not good the first couple of years. He just coming into his own here the end of the season before and this last season. He's really made great strides.
Booty's potential. I hate saying Booty. But Booty, I'm from Louisiana. It's really Booty, but everybody says Booty. But it's terrible. Booty. But his Booty, yes. But his potential is through the roof, man. He has a high ceiling. I mean, the floor is a little bit low, but I mean, he has a high ceiling because he just, like you said, the potential. He's realizing his potential and he can play. I just watched him at LSU and he had some serious breakout moments. So he's good. I think he could be a legit number 1. He can be a legit number 1.
I think they're counting on him to be the number 1 guy this year. I really do. And he stepped up big in some big moments during this season. He had some breakout moments like he had at LSU this year. I mean, the overall numbers aren't overwhelming, but he had some big plays and big moments this year. And I like what this kid can bring. He's a big kid. He goes up and gets the ball, and you need that too. Plus, he's not afraid to go over the middle. A lot of guys are afraid of that. With Stephon gone, they do that. No,
you shouldn't be afraid of it anymore. You're protected.
One guy's they don't get protected. I don't think. I mean, they make calls, but they still get the snot knocked out of them more than anybody on the field.
Not like they used to.
The reason why I asked about tall or short, Keith, because Zachariah Branch is going to be a playmaker as well.
I like his potential too.
He's 5'8", 190, but I mean, he kind of reminds me of Steve Smith, Senior. Oh man, he's got the potential, man. He's got dog in him too. So whoever gets him, they're going to get a.
At 5'8", playing the NFL, you better have that dog attitude.
Yes,
that's that.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy too, because 190. That's not, that's kind of.
Yeah, but he runs a 4.33 though. So I mean, you're not really you got to catch him to hit him.
Yeah.
Well, and if you do hit him, the impact will be great. I'm just saying.
It's true.
So, you can run fast all you want, but if somebody catches you at an angle, that's all she wrote. So
my thing is, I'm saying he's a little stockier than you think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. What you got there, Bo? Who do you think your guys are going to get?
Yeah. So I think we drop out of the first round. The 32nd pick is not something. I mean, the Seahawks traditionally drop out anyway. They very rarely actually utilize that first round pick. So if they're picking last, they're going to trade it to somebody that's interested in that 5th-year option, right? Which is really all the 32nd pick is good for, because you're getting a second-round talent at 32. You just get a first-round option on them. So they probably drop back, especially considering they only have 4 draft picks in this draft anyway. So if they were to drop back, I could see maybe the Raiders doing something like that. So then they'd be picking in the top 5 of the second round. I could see them picking up the running back maybe out of Penn State, Katron Allen, right? Strong runner between the tackles, good vision, actually pretty good hands. And so I could see that. I could also see them maybe going after the running back out of the UW, also a good running back that does pretty well in a running back by committee style. But because we're still going to have Charbonnet here. And so I expect them to target that running back position, specifically in the second round. Walker and Charbonnet were both picked in the second round. So it's just something that, Schneider tends to do. And if they can drop back out of the first round and get an extra third or fourth, something to make it so you have more than only 4 picks, is probably the route they're going to go.
What do you think about Davian Price out of Michigan? The other really good running back that no one talks about, considering, I mean, not Michigan, out of Notre Dame.
I don't know that he's necessarily going to be there, right? Because although people aren't necessarily talking about him because of Love, people were really high on him still. So if somebody else needed a running back, his grade is actually kind of all over the place. So he may still be around, but the 2 guys that I was mentioning actually fit the Seahawks system pretty well for the way they use running backs. And that's kind of why I was looking at those guys specifically, is they adapt to a running back by committee. They're powerful runners. And because you already have Charbonnet, who is better at the finesse run, right? So they tend to like to have both. Walker was more up the middle, right? So they have that position to fill. They actually have better hands than Walker did, and are solid blockers. So those are some of the traits that Seattle specifically would be looking for. And being in a mid-second round pick, those guys would likely still be there.
Yeah.
The consensus out of Detroit is that they're going to pick Penn State offensive guard Vega Ione, and at 17, I kind of think they're going to go with a defense, because they've really gotten a lot of offensive linemen in free agency in the offseason. So and I believe they're going to move Penei Sewell back to left tackle, his natural position, and put the new guy that we got from, I believe it was Tampa Bay. I'm not sure, but he's an offensive tackle. He would play the right tackle side. We got guards that that are pretty good. I just don't know where they're going to go with this draft. It's either going to be an offensive lineman or a defensive end. There's only 2 choices they can go, in my opinion, because they don't, unless they go for a grab. One of the things that me and James are talking about, one of the rumors was a trade with Washington, to trade up to Washington and get a player in that regard. I think they're 7th, by the way. So I don't know if they do that. That's a whole different situation. They might try to get a safety or a corner high up there. But I think it's going to be a defensive end, in my opinion, because they really do need somebody to work with Aiden Hutchinson on the other side and replace Muhammad, who went to Tampa Bay, as a matter of fact. So I don't know who the defensive end is, so don't ask me. I just know
that guard you mentioned. That guard you mentioned out of Penn State. That dude is he's going to be up there somewhere, man. He's a monster, and he has some experience as well as center. Don't you guys need like a center too as well?
No, we got a center. We got Cade at center, so that's. Gotcha. I mean, they got their center tied up for 3 years. I'm not saying he's Frank Ragnow or anything, but he's a center. He's better than Glasgow, that's for sure.
You need a guard, because I'm pretty sure you could get Bradford for cheap.
And that might work with the Lions too, because they're cheap. So you never know.
He won't be expensive, but he won't block very well either.
So, okay, that is it, what I got for the NFL news and notes. Does anybody have any other sports news they want to throw out there
with the draft, I think the Jeremiah Love story is going to be very interesting to see as teams try to maybe move around to get him, because there's not another running back that's going to get picked in the first 2 rounds, maybe, other than Love, and the Giants really want him. And it's still some debate. I don't know why the Titans would be debating whether they're going to take Love or a lineman. But if they decide they're not going to draft Love, they'd be smart to work out a trade for that position. But I think it's intriguing. If he goes to the Giants are going to be in very good position very quickly under John Harbaugh.
Absolutely.
That would be a key addition here.
He's rated as between number 1 to number 3 player in the draft overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched his highlights. He's up there with Jahmyr Gibbs. He's up there with Bijan Robinson. He's in that ilk for sure.
Yeah.
So
he'll be good. He'll be good right away, I think, too. I don't think he's going to be like Giante and the Raiders, because I think he's going to play on the Giants are going to be a better team, I think, with than they were. If he ends up with I think that's just a perfect landing spot for him, for the Giants. And look, at the league wants the Giants to be good too, so it'd be good for the league too.
Yep.
New Jersey Giants.
New Jersey Giants.
and we won't be having what is the football show that Hard Knocks, where the GM or the owner is saying, I hope we don't do that. Let them go over to Philadelphia.
No, because we got Hard Knocks. We got the preseason one. Then of course Keith has it next year. So the league has stopped messing around with the way they used to do it, and they're like, you guys get to do this now. So it's dictated to you instead of because Seattle's turned it down like at least 5 times. They're like, yeah, we don't want that distraction here. And now the league is just like, well, you get it anyway. So
such bad luck.
Yeah, no, it's so we do have that coming. So yeah,
well, I mean, they won a Super Bowl. I mean,
I get it. In retrospect, the best moment in Hard Knocks history is one James is talking about, when John Mara is sitting there and telling Shine, if this doesn't work out, I'm not going to be very happy.
Yep.
He could not have been very happy.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
Somebody needs to get fired.
In WNBA news, big trade. So that the expansion draft already happened, and now we're in the free agency period. We still have the draft coming up, I believe, on the 13th, and then camp starts the 19th. The first preseason games are the 25th. Like super tight schedule. But some of the trades have already happened, and Angel Reese is headed to Atlanta, which is actually a nice acquisition for them because they have a good team. They need her defense and rebounding ability, and they're not going to try and make her be a point guard. They're going to let her do her actual job. So I think that's going to be a great fit for Atlanta.
It was all a dream. I used to read World Up magazines.
See, I just figured you were going to go with the Barbies headed to the dream house.
Oh my goodness, no.
Oh man, that would have been that probably would have been more appropriate. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Jonesy.
Anyway, so
he's at a party. He's in a group of. He's in a party here, Jonesy. Leave the rest.
What kind of party?
I feel like I'm at a bar where I got left out of a round here.
All right, let's not go to parties, okay? You know, we've already had enough of the Diddy stuff. I'm going to go with that stuff anymore.
Oh wow!
No more cornhole.
Party.
Cornhole.
Well, it's
goodness.
Well,
let's just go Eddie Murphy party all the time.
Hope you enjoyed our final show today.
Anyway, speaking of that, we are going to close this show up, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 6:00 Eastern Standard Time. Again, thank you to James Martin, Keith Engel, Bo Crouch, and myself for coming on here and dealing with us today. Keith Engel is up next with his college game day, his huddle. And everybody have a great rest of your evening. Peace out.
See you.